promise me nothing? Did you flip a switch and erase me from your memory? It took you a year! A year to get over your ex! Did you ever love me at all?
Hello everybody, I'm Coco Cosmos, and I've been thinking about something recently. And if you saw my thumbnail, you know exactly what. But I've noticed this phenomenon across several forms of media and life itself. The art of settling in a relationship. The concept is baffling to me, and I could never. But I recognize in some cases it might be necessary, whether that be for safety, financially, or you just simply don't want to be alone. I believe Clare falls in the category of no one else wants me, in the case of settling. Let's explore. Clare Edwards has been through a lot. Like, a lot. Debatably the most. Which means she transforms a lot during the years that we see her. From her attitude, to the clothing choices, to her taste in guys. Now, we all know Claire was endgame. But, was Eli really the best choice? Was he actually a good boyfriend? Let alone the best boyfriend? I truly don't think so. In my humble opinion, when Claire was undecided at graduation, she should have been undecided about her relationship as well. Try being a separate entity completely. Long distance isn't enough. She recognized that she hasn't lived a life without Eli. But somehow, he's still here. Why? Well, let's see the material she had to work with, outside of her personal issues somewhat. Her first and debatably worst romance. Oh, the growing pains of a young teenager. Learning some guys are garbage at the ripe age of 13. Long story short, he cheated on her because she was too boring or whatever. He saw something new and had wandering eyes. Their first meeting wasn't great, with Claire being a judgmental, sheltered child, and assuming KC wasn't smart enough to be gifted. Honestly, I didn't get it. There was nothing making him look especially dumb. Maybe it was the beanie. Then he kinda pushed her out of her comfort zone because she said she didn't care about what people thought. That didn't end great, because she got lightly bullied after. Being pushed out of her comfort zone was definitely a constant theme in Claire's life, I've noticed. They don't officially start dating until after they beef due to Claire's still judgmental attitude towards him, and them flirting. They share a first kiss after getting locked in an equipment closet. Things are fine until Jenna shows up. She's so fun and not Claire. OMG! They break up after Casey shows Jenna too much extra attention and admits to liking her. After this, we don't see them interact until he needs help with a math test that he tried to cheat on anyways. So she disowns him.
First you cheat on me with her, now you cheat off of me because of her.
Probably her most well-known relationship after Eli. Why? He becomes her stepbrother. But let me tell you how they got there first. Fresh off the escapade that was Eli and Claire's first breakup, enter Jake. Jake and his dad Glenn are friends from their old neighborhood and they've moved. Jake now attends Degrassi. Her mom thinks it's a good idea for Claire and Jake to hang out, and Claire agrees. They meet up at the new teen hangout spot, Above the Dot, where Claire causes a bit of a scene.
Did you ever love me at all?
And scene.
After escorting her out, because, yeesh, that was embarrassing, they kiss. Then Claire avoids him, but he's always in our house fixing something, so it's hard. Then they kiss again. But Jake asks Katie on a date to the movie night at the school. This starts a situationship that ends in Claire telling Jake she just isn't built for that type of thing. Then they make things official. And so do their parents. Now they gotta figure out what to do and start fighting about it. They stop talking to each other for months until their parents' wedding, and now Jake wants to. Then Jake kisses Allie at the cabin party Claire wasn't even invited to. She gets over it, but they break up because they live under the same roof now as family anyways. Jake was a very quick buffer between the on and off from Eli, and then after, we didn't see him too much unless he and Eli were, hanging out, participating in substances, or he was with Katie occasionally, which I think was kind of a waste of a character, to be honest. Jake had potential, I think. Like, he was a chill, non-judgmental, carefree guy, and was moderately relatable, I think. Like, an average Joe. I feel like they could have explored him more. Honestly, he's my favorite out of Claire's romances. But he was a rebound, and it was short-lived. Gone too soon, I would say. That's exactly why it ended too. Fresh off Eli neglecting their relationship, cheating on Claire, and her growing feelings for Drew, she dumps Eli through voicemail. You know, when people still left those. He didn't get it in time though, and showed up just in time to see them kiss. Ultimately, they never actually dated because Drew felt like a rebound, but he wasn't. It could have been something beautiful. Give me my opposites attract relationship and not whatever Becky and Jonah were. The whole relationship itself was technically an emotional affair. She became his work wife and he the work husband. This could have been a classic cheater storyline, but she did break up with Eli beforehand, even if he didn't get the memo, so it doesn't count. Eli wasn't giving her the attention and care she wanted, and Drew was. They should have had their run. I'm standing 10 toes on that. And now we've reached our man of the hour. Eli did and said so many things during the soap opera that was their relationship, and yet, this was the pairing chosen to be endgame. If we really want to get into it, he was an ass boyfriend, and Claire's worst boyfriend overall. I swear, his wildest moment wasn't crashing his hearse. It was him calling her a whore while she was pregnant with his child, and when he found out it was his, suddenly, she was no longer a whore, and this was after he cheated on her! Props to Claire for recognizing the manipulative behavior here, because she missed everything else, unfortunately. I genuinely believe this was supposed to be painted as a high school sweetheart, first love, roller coaster, can't leave each other alone situation that we're supposed to root for, but seeing it with my adult eyes, holy shit. What was this actual dumpster fire? Initially, it was quite cute, but went south quite fast. And don't get me wrong, Claire was a handful too, but he had her doing things she never would have done. Which, to be fair, is very much a high school romance thing, with all those hormones raging around on top of Eli's mental health issues. This relationship reads more as codependency and obsession rather than actual love.
The ball's in your court.
Shit was fun to watch, but if this was a real life relationship, we would have been telling sis to call the cops or tell a trusted adult and never look back. Instead, Claire decided she could fix him, and the first instance of this was shown when she found out about his hoarding problem. That was not her job to take on at, 15? And every time Eli spiraled, guess who was there? Claire. And not in a always stay by your side way. Oh no, it was an I can fix him way. Absolute insanity. Now, it wasn't all bad. The cancer storyline was pretty okay, the New York visit was pretty respectful until the pregnancy reveal, and yet, it still kind of makes me mushy to think about them. When I think about their first words to each other, when Eli was there genuinely supporting Claire, when they shared genuine laughs together and he was bringing her out of her shell, they make a pretty couple. But I'll be damned if I say they were made for each other. They have been through more stuff than most people do in a decade in a relationship. This embarrassing shit happened after only 3 months of them dating and breaking up. I know everything feels incredibly serious at that age, trust me, I've been there. But Lord almighty! If we're going to be realistic, she should have left him alone after the cheating situation. It just feels very un-Claire-like to have moved past that. Yeah, majority of this she wouldn't have stood for when she was first introduced. But we saw with KC, that was the one thing she put her foot down on. Actually, now that I think about it, Eli has to be the worst boyfriend by default. Because it was her longest relationship, and because of familiarity, she settled for him. And I wish she hadn't. The long distance didn't work the first time, so why would it work the second? She literally decided to take a gap year so she wouldn't follow that man, and wanted to know who she was without him, but still stayed in a relationship with him? Claire was basically a PSA in, don't let this happen to you. Do I believe they genuinely loved each other by their wrap-up? No, you cannot convince me, sorry. Do I believe they could get there? Maybe. He was her first love regardless, though. That is her man, and she's sticking beside him. And I don't even hate Eli. I think after he got the help he needed for his mental health issues, he became an even greater character when he was already good. Good introduction, great chemistry with some of the other characters, storylines great, character development immaculate. I just think Eli and Claire are better separate. Really, I think this is one of those couples that need to stay together simply so they don't bring innocence in. Honestly, if she wasn't gonna end up with Drew, she should have just been alone. And I know what I said in the Drew section, but I know for definite they wouldn't be long term. Claire would get fed up sooner rather than later, after fun runs out, and it'll be another Bianca repeat. Claire should have developed more alone. No crutches. I know, crazy ass statement I just made. She went through everything under the sun, but that only pushed her further into needing someone, whether that be Eli, her mom, her friends. I'm not saying don't have a support system, but I am saying I wanted to see what she actually could do without something going to shit every 12 seconds. But what do y'all think? Who else should I explore? Let me know in the comments below. Coco Cosmos out.